Hello engineers, how are you doing? I know it's been a minute, I've missed 2 updates. I did post a video Friday. I think this is gonna come out Saturday. So Friday, I posted a video, unless I post this like later today on Friday, I don't know. But I did post a video talking about why I've not been uploading and stuff. So if you're curious of that, go check that out. But anyway, we have update 5 and 6 for the weekly blog updates. I know I missed 2, but you know, again, I explained that in that video. Let's get into this, shall we? So, start things off, we have no, actually, before we start things, I'm gonna make a complaint. Let me just toss a little video up here real quick. Okay, this drives me nuts. Keen, I hate to be someone that complains, but this pisses me off so bad. Something about the Q and E rotate keys in this update, like, not this update, but this last update where y'all changed how the flying mechanic works, does not slightly move when you tap Q or E. It moves in chunks. And it pisses me off so much. Not the feature. No. Don't get me wrong. It's fine. It's just that it moves so much. When I'm trying to perfectly line it up before I, like, you know, go to connect or whatever, land my ship, it's like 40 degrees to the left. If I tap right slightly, I'm now 90 degrees to the right. It's not as smooth as it was in the old system. So either please refine it or put an option in the settings that allow us to use the old system. Please. I cannot express to you how much this aggravates the hell out of me. I don't know why. It's just very overstimulating and it pisses me off. I love the flying feature. I think it's very cool. It's very awesome. I'm still trying to get used to it. But the Q and E to, like, rotate, not it. Please refine it. Anyway, let's get back into the actual video where we're talking about this update. So this would be update 5. Yeah, look at all that. There's a whole month right there. That is so crazy to me. This would be update 5. So, they introduced connectors. So we have the large connector. Looks pretty good, I would say. Looks pretty good. Pretty good stuff here. I'm not gonna go super slow because, I mean, it kind of just looks like the connector is just not as bulky. And we all know what the connector is. It looks good. Looks great. Here is it on its, you know, side, so you can see all the ports. It's got, what does it got in grand total? If we're not counting the connection port, it has 5. So 1 large, 4 small. Not bad at all. I think it looks really good. We back up here. We have the small connector with only 1 small port on the back. No side ports. So there's only one way to connect these up, which is fine. They're small. They're meant to be, you know, very small. They're kind of self-explanatory. Here we have some of our first armor blocks that are actually different shapes. So if I recall, this is the new transition slope, I think. Hold on. Yes. So this is transition or slope transition. Sorry, I said that wrong. Please don't hurt me. So we have its regular and its mirrored version, as they did with the, what was it, last update? Yes, last update with these shapes, they also had the regular and mirrored version. So they've continued that idea with their new blocks here. They look good. You can do some pretty interesting stuff. I have that set up there, some stuff that we could see. We'll talk about that in just a minute. As you can see, here's the heavy one, here's the light one. They look good. You could do some interesting stuff with them, as you see, as you will see. Pretty good. I don't see myself using this particular shape as much as I see myself using the one in this next update here. We also have the small grid version, or small version, the 0.5. They look pretty alright. Not a lot to talk about with this update. Disappointingly so. Yes, this aggravated me so much getting these lined up. You don't even want to know. They do not connect. I thought maybe that even though it's in creative, it might require power, so I tossed on reactors on both the grids and them. So they're non-functional right now, but you get an idea of how they would look. They look pretty okay, I'd say. They do the job. Not really a lot to say. They don't connect, sadly, so they're just visual. They're not functional, which I kind of think is a bummer. I think it would have been pretty cool if they would have made this functional with this update. I don't see why they couldn't have made it functional with this update. It's a connector. All it does is just snap two grids together right now. Right now! You know, later on, yeah, you can move items through it with inventories and transfer power and shit, but right now, all it is just this grid, boom. Same grid for a moment, relatively, right? Kind of like a merge block, but not entirely as set in stone. You know, I really think they could have, but it's okay. I'm sure we will see it very soon, and if not very soon, with the modding update, somebody's going to make this work. That and the cable. Don't tell Zero Legion, but there's probably going to be a cable mod if he doesn't make it himself. Yeah, I say these look pretty good. Not a lot to talk about with them, so we're going to move on to this. This is its kind of hitbox, if you will. As you can see here, if... okay. I have no idea what I've just done. Alright. So as you can see, this is one block in its entirety with the outline. So this here fits within one block. So you've got two decor blocks or a slab, I think. Like a half wall, a light half wall of room before it's another block. You can see that best sitting up here on top of this one. See. So it's not, it doesn't take up an entire block space. So it does allow you to, like, you know, decorate around it. So let's see, I put these two, all right, and then I did that all the way around, and then I have this layer being like orange and this one being black. It could be like a little hazard outline, and it doesn't take up an extra block's space. You don't need to do a couple small blocks on the next one. Like, you don't have to do a large slab here and then fill it in a bunch with small blocks just so you can have, you know, the same thing again on the other block. So this is, yeah, I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, let's move on to that over there. Also, if you want an idea of how tall this is, it is one decor block less than a slab block. Slab, half wall. I don't know. I'm getting confused. Anyway, let's move on to this week's update. This one's pretty good. This one's pretty good indeed. I like this one quite a lot, if I'm being all honest with you. I'm confused. Okay, there it goes. It wouldn't... Let's get into the big boy H2O2 generator. But hold on, before we talk about it, you might be thinking, yep, it's just an H2O2. They added animation. We know what it does. Logic, move on. Hold on. In the blog post about this thing, this week's update adds 2 essential survival blocks, the large and small H2O2 generators. And you're going, yep, They just convert ice into hydrogen. Hold. Which converts ice and water into usable hydrogen and oxygen gas. So this will also be able to process water into hydrogen and oxygen. Or hydrogen or oxygen. I don't know. It says and. It doesn't say and or. It just says and. So ice and water into usable hydrogen and oxygen. So I'm going to assume at least you do both. Okay, I don't know. I thought I heard a voice that alarmed me. But yeah, it's animated and we can use it. Whoa. I did not realize that's an accessible panel. Oh, it is. It also says it in here, turns ice and water into hydrogen and oxygen gas. Block is working, thank you. Oh, when I turn it off, it does stop the animation, see? It came to a stop instead of just like bloop. Oh, and it starts up and spins faster. That's crazy. So this one has some ports on it. We have a large port on the bottom, large port on the back, and I think we have a large port on the top. Yes, and we also have 2 small ports, one on the left and one on the right. This thing looks great. I like the animation. I kind of feel like Zero Legion in this case. I like spinny things. It is nice to see the environment and our ships having parts that move. It is very nice to see. It makes it feel a little more alive and not just like you're flying a beautiful brick through space and time. There's actually parts of it that are moving, living, if you will. I do like that. I do like that it says H2O2 and power. I wonder if if those will light up or anything later on. Huh. Oh, it's got some interesting stuff. Maintenance required. Okay. It's too small for me to read, and I can't remember how to go into spectate at the moment. But yeah, this is the large grid one. I think it looks fucking fantastic. And we have the small one, which also same grid, unified grid system and all that, which is also animated. I think it looks pretty good. Now, unfortunately, they only have the one small thing, which is fine. And this is a good size. I would say this is a fair size to be able to put in a smaller ship. It could be just a smidge smaller, but if we actually get like a scale of it, of how big this really is, if I get a half, I already had a half block. Get one large half block. It is smaller than one large half block. So it gives you an idea of how big it is. It's like, I don't know. I don't really know the math on that, but it is quite smaller. So it doesn't take up that much room. Your average, you know, small ship would be significantly bigger than this. They would be what, like something in the ballpark of this in grand total size, and seeing that little block being like half of a half, you know, it doesn't take up that much room. I was kind of concerned that they would give us a small one, but it would be like big as well, which they didn't do, which is awesome. It is also animated. I don't know if I mentioned that. I do like it. It's got spinny. Looks very nice. I could definitely see people putting this on like the sides of their small ship to add some like flair and animation to it, you know. It looks great. So now we have the transition tips in the mirrored version. This is what I was talking about. I could see myself using this more than the other one, just because it's got that like flatter, more sharp, like car headlight design, you know what I mean? You know, like it's got that like muscle car, you know, it's looking at you. I don't know. It's got its regular and mirrored for the light, and it's got its small version as well. They're pretty basic. You can kind of figure it out. They're like a half block in height as well. And then we have the armored variant here to boot. Looks pretty good. I'm not gonna spend too much time looking at these because, I mean, if you saw that one, it's just that one with different textures. But here is the two sets of blocks from last update and this update put together to kind of create some stuff. So here we have the tips, and then we have the slope transition, and you can kind of make some interesting designs with these. You can really make it interesting if you like rotate them. So this is the slope right here, and that's just a ramp on that piece. So this is a slope rotated, and this is a tip rotated, and there's their mirrored version on the other side. And then if you rotate them again, you can kind of connect them like this. This is a corner block. So you can create some interesting stuff with them. Here's another example of rotating them and doing stuff. You can rotate, I think this is the tip. Yep, this is the tip block. No, this is the slope, because how long it is. This is a slope block rotated, and then you could put like the smaller little ramp on it, and then another corner bit. So you could do some interesting designs and shaping with them, for sure. I do see them being useful for designing. I see myself leaning more towards just using this block in its own for certain things more than anything. But, yep. This has been update 5 and 6. I'm sorry that it took me so long to get this out to you guys. As I said in Friday/today's video, depending on when I upload this, I've just been a lot going on, you know? So, yeah. If you guys are interested in more Space Engineers content, please consider subscribing, leaving a like, and comment down below. It helps me, and it helps YouTube know that this is what you're interested in. And I will, you know, maybe consider making a little series here soon of working and building ships now that they've added conveyors, generate H2O2s, connectors, and some other blocks. Door. I wonder, have they updated the door to actually, or can we go through the door still? Can we still go through? We can. You can still go through the door. Okay, that's amazing. They've added the visual look to the door. And some other blocks. I might consider going through and porting one of my ships from SE1 over to SE2. Again, now that some of these blocks are in the game and I don't have to make them myself. And start working on that. Let me know if that would interest you down below. And anyway, it's been Jake, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.